that you guys had actually a little bit of a cold weather. Now, we really can say cold weather in Florida now. Because I heard that some people were even wearing, kind of like jackets and things like that. So that must have been feel good. That it feels good, no?
Yeah. No. No.
No.
No.
So Bob is like, I came down here to not have to wear a jacket anymore in my life. So
Right.
so that's very good. And then also we have been very blessed, and very, 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 very inspired by those incredible monks. I can see here that Dan has a photo from the Theravada tradition, the forest tradition. They did a beautiful walk for peace. So special, huh? America is really special in these ways. I think really I was discussing with some friends about it, and we would say it's not in a lot of places maybe that these would work so profoundly, but America really gets the point of it. And I think also because of the world, yeah, situation and the way politics and all of these difficult situations that we are having right now, it's such a simple thing but so profound. So it was very special, right? It was very, very special that we had those monks walking for peace. I don't know if you guys had a look at that, if it was in the news.
Yes.
I think it was, and it was very special, very, very special. So we're gonna do that. We're
It,
gonna walk around in Florida. But that was my first idea when I came to Florida. I said I can just walk to the center, and people didn't allow me because they said I was going to get killed. But then, maybe this time now we have a little bit more possibilities of maybe do a walk. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with coming back to our talks. So I was thinking about something. I said, sometimes we just talk, we just start with the talk, and sometimes we forget to just bring it ourselves a little bit inwards, very important because we know what we're going to do today, even though we're going to use, we're going to talk, we're going to use our voice, we're going to use our our sight, we're going to see things. And yes, we're going to kind of like hear things, but the main thing we're going to use, it's our minds, right? So that is the main thing, the main tool we're gonna use, the mind. So the mind right now, I don't know you guys, your minds, but normally it's quite hectic, isn't it? It's jumping from one thing to another. I was discussing that with some people as well. We have uh, dishwashers, we have clothes washer, clothes dryer, we have, now we have those robots that clean the house, and we have less time, right? Isn't that amazing? It's just like it's incredible. We have more things to do. We have less time to do things. So it's something. Why? Because the mind is just jumping from one thing to another, to one thing to another, to one. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to go there. Oh, I need to do this again. So then the mind is completely, like computer, all of the windows open, and then you go and then you have like all of these hundreds of windows open and you don't even then the computer crashes. Yes. It just goes like crashes. Or it starts to become very slow. Yes. I remember when I was with Mary one day, she said, the computer is very slow. And I said, when did you turn off the computer last time, Mary? And then she said, oh, yes, long time ago. And I said, you see, it's exactly like our minds, right? We also need to sometimes just kind of like slow down. Unfortunately, or fortunately, actually, we can't stop the mind for thinking, right? The thinking is a part of the mind. It is what the mind does, right? It's what it does. So it's not about stopping the thinking, but making the mind a little bit more, how can we say, a little bit more down, a little bit more in, so we can actually use that that function of thinking in a way that is gonna not create that feeling of having too many windows open, but actually having more clarity, more space, even if we are doing many things. So that's why, it's important that we always start a little bit going inward. So we're just gonna take 5 minutes, 2, 3, 1 minute, just to go inwards. Okay? So we're gonna start with these nowadays. I'm starting to change some things. I started to feel that is important, because you guys come from very hectic lives. So we just bring a little bit. So I invite you to just take a moment. You can sit down whatever way it's comfortable. If you're like Jason, sitting and lying on the couch, you can lie on the couch. It's okay. And then if you want to just close your eyes and then just try to use your breath a few times, you can, take big deep breath or just stay with the normal breathing rhythm. Sometimes for people is also, if you wanna just put your hand on your chest or your belly just to feel your body, just, the breathing also. Sometimes this helps. This is a powerful way for us just to decrease a little bit of the inner chatting, to make the mind a little bit less clogged. And when the mind became a little bit more, yes, calm, or maybe you're starting to realize how actually agitated your mind is, because you're simply giving yourself a bit of space and time. And from that space, you can just try to really connect with that underlying calmness, that openness that is always there present in ourselves. Doesn't matter how many open windows we have. There is always space, clarity, calmness. So if we experience that, and we remind ourselves of this inner space, this inner clarity, so we try to make sure that we can bring that with us in whatever we do in our lives, whatever situation we have. And especially, we try to use the time we're gonna spend together here, sharing, listening, talking, learning from each other as a method, as a path that can allow us to connect with that inner calmness, luminosity, clarity within ourselves more and more. So we try to create that intention that everything that we hear may help us now and in throughout our lives, our days, to remind ourselves of that space, that clarity, that calmness within each one of us. Always there. So with that intention, whenever you're ready, you can start moving your body, opening your eyes, and bring ourselves here again. Good. Good way for grounding ourselves, yes? So don't forget, yes, we have that. We have that within ourselves. I've been I've been thinking about that more and more, that we need this grounding, so important. So then everything we're gonna speak together today gonna make even more sense. Yes, what we're gonna say. So let's start talking about our minds, isn't it? Someone remembers what we were talking last time we talked?
Debbie.
Maybe Debbie. Well, I have something. I think I'm gonna go do a new overall of what we talked already so far, but I think I'm gonna try to go a little bit deeper because I was thinking, I've been doing a lot of thinking. When I had the surgery, one of the things that is very interesting, I don't know who of you had surgery that you had full anesthesia, yeah, anesthesia, yes. So when you wake up, actually when you start to go down, you're kind of like, okay, okay, that's okay, like maybe you're a little bit agitated or something like this. I was very relaxed. There was so many people and it was very kind. People so kind, so kind, so kind. So, and then I was a bit like, oh, okay, what to expect? And then you go, and then when you start to come back, I think that your mind starts to really remember some things, or kind of like, life becomes a little bit more, and in some parts of ways, like it's almost you're gone for a while, right? And then the mind starts to come back. And I don't know how it is for you guys, but the first thing that starts is the wishes and wants. Oh, I want this. Oh, I need it. Oh, where am I? Oh, I need this. I'm thirsty. Oh, I'm that. Oh, this and that. I don't know if you had that experience that, that kind of like instantly, instant. It's just like instant, starting to already craving, grasping for things, right? Immediately. First thing. So I was thinking, it's very similar to when we wake up as well. When we wake up, we already start immediately. I need this. I'm thirsty. I need water. I need to go. I need to do. I need this. I need that. I want this. I want that. Isn't it? And then, if we actually try to express a little bit of our own minds throughout the day, it's a little bit like that as well. I always say that, it's especially when we are in a supermarket in America. Easy to see how our minds go. I need that, I want that. Or shopping mall or Amazon. Amazon is like a very dangerous place to go online, Because you start to see so many things that you actually don't want, but actually you suddenly realize that you need that or you want that, right? So what is the problem with this? Is that actually, we truly, blindly believe that if I had those things, if I had those experiences, or if I had that person, or if I had that job, or if I had that body, or if I had that whatever, I will finally, be in peace. Then I would be able to relax, right? So what happens is that normally we don't get everything exactly as we want. Thankfully, Lamayeshi used to say, not getting what we want sometimes is the best thing that can happen to us. That is very, 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 very important for us to do. Oh, my friend. So, very important that, because why? Because actually, not getting what we want, it's a perfect special opportunity for us to start to realize what happens in our minds. What happens to you when you don't get what you want? Come on, Bob, you're the first one.
I get annoyed.
You get annoyed. Wow, you're the only one, Bob. I'm sure you're the only one. I'm gonna ask this is to tease Jack. What happened to you, Jack, when we were not being able to go down from the mountains in Kathmandu to go to Kathmandu? Did you get annoyed? Did you get anxious?
No, I got irritated.
But then we had some things to pass on the time, right? So it was good. It was good. You behaved very well. You behaved very well. So that's what happens to us, isn't it? It's just what I'm saying is just to observe our lives, right? I like to say things like this because as we remember, Buddha and Buddhism, Dharma is not something invented. It's just an observation of how the mind works. Hmm? That's what it is. That's what the Buddha did. So the Buddha started to literally, observe his own mind. That's why I like to say that what we study is the science of the mind. So that's what we need in order to practice Dharma, in order to practice Buddhism. What do we need to do? Observe our own minds. So if we start to observe that our minds start and continue throughout our days, wanting and wishing for things, and when we don't get what we want, we become irritated, we become frustrated, tensed, anxious. Yes? But not only this, also happens that we sometimes not only don't get what we want, but sometimes we get what we don't want. Right? For example, oh, I really want to go to the beach and blah, 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 blah. And then I get rain. Right? I don't want rain. I don't, it's not that I just don't go to the beach. I don't want rain because really rain is like I cannot even go to the beach by walking, right? Or I'm not even thinking that I want a healthy body or like health, a strong body, but then suddenly I get sick, right? Isn't it? Or I'm not even thinking that I want, a new job or anything like that, but then I get fired. Yes? I'm not thinking about even like having another partner or anything like this, but then someone just dumps me. Isn't it? That happens. It happens to our lives. So, how do we do about that? Then, we become angry as well. We become fearful. We become sad. We become depressed. Isn't it? Yes. So, we can see that those experiences in our lives creates dissatisfaction, creates suffering. Are we okay? Are we agreeing so far? That when we experience those two types of things, yes, when we don't get what we want or we get what we don't want, we are dissatisfied and we suffer. However, now comes the deep go part. Actually, what happens to us when we get what we want? What happened? Bob, what
I'm
happened?
okay. I'm happy.
Yes, you're happy, right? You're kind of like, yes, okay, yes, I'm relaxed. Why?
Because I got what I want.
Yeah, but what exactly happened? Let's try to uncover this today.
What exactly happened
Yes.
was that there was something that, for whatever reason, I decided was important to me.
Yes. Yes.
So
I love
my
it. I love it.
intention, my intention became having it happen the way I envisioned it happening.
That's it. Very good. So you said two things, which is the most important things for us to express today, which is you believed that something, right, was important to you. Yes. And I love that you say for whatever reason. As we know in Buddhism, there's nothing without a reason. So definitely there's a reason in there, but whatever reason, yes. And because you believed in that, and that would bring you happiness. So there's two things here. Yes, the object or the situation, the person, whatever it is. Yes, that you wanted, that you believed that was going to bring you happiness. And you. Yes, these two things. Very important. Very important. From the beginning, we need to start understanding what these two things happen. Because actually, what happens when we actually get what we want, if we are completely honest, yes? Hmm? If we get, try to remember, try to think something like, oh yeah, I got that. Oh, I got that, that recognition, or I got the job, or I got the relationship, or I, just got the good parking space when I was looking for it, or whatever it is that we were wanting and we got it. Yes? So, what we actually got in that moment, it was just a little relief. Yes? Yes. Does it mean relief? Yes. From
Mhm.
that wish that I wanted and I didn't know if I was going to have it. Right? So the moment that I got it, so there is a relief in my mind from that idea of like, I needed that in order to be happy. So I got it. So there is a relief of that wanting. Yes? Are we all with me? Does it make sense? Are we communicating? Yes? What is the problem? That we all know. How long does it last, that relief?
Not too long.
15 seconds, 20 seconds, or something like this, maybe? Because then the mind already starts with, yes, now that I had the water, I need a coffee. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Oh, I need. No. So then that constant agitation, that constant needing, craving, it's always there. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Do you
Yes.
recognize these in your life? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good. So now we're going to try to understand what is happening. Yes? Because nobody here, none of us, and nobody in the universe, it's crazy or stupid, right? And wants to go through this. But that's just how our minds are working now. Yes? Why? Because we don't investigate. We don't think about it. We just go blind faithfully, believing that when I get what I want, I have that very short term relief, yes, of my anxiety, of my wish for satisfaction. Yes, I need to I need to satisfy my wish. Yes, so I satisfy it, and I think that I got it. But then another wish comes, and another wish, and another wish. And worse, that one, for example, maybe the water is not a good one, but like maybe the job. Oh, I really want to get the job. I really want to get the job. I really want to get the job, right? Because the job is going to make me relieved, because then I'm going to have money, then I'm going to have this, then I'm going to have status, I'm going to have reputation, I'm going to have this. And then it transforms. It becomes actually a burden. It becomes a source of stress, right? But then the question is, did the job in itself change? Or was my perception of what the job could give to me? Yes? It's like relationships. When we are in love, in the beginning of relationships, wow, that person's gonna make me so happy and amazing and all of that, right? And then when we are so long married, we are like assured that the person is the cause of our suffering. Isn't it? We are like, we have complete AIDS. Wow, you know? So that is very important that we start to observe. Right now, we are just in the plane of observation. Yes? It needs to be from our own observation. Why? Because I can be repeating all of these things, but if you don't feel it's important or it's how it happens in your own life, then you're not going to do anything about it. Does it make sense? Yes?
Yes.
So then
Can
from our
can
own,
you say that differently?
yes, I'd say that in what I'm saying, it sounds very logical, but what I'm trying to ask yourselves is try to really bring to your own experience. Yes? Try to bring it to your own experience. Try to think, oh, yes, exactly like this. Or is it exactly like this, like Kalden is saying? Is it that when I get what I want, I have a relief, but then immediately I want something else? Yes? Or maybe not immediately, maybe it can take a few months, even jobs or big things like that. But maybe sometimes not. A phone, new phone nowadays, maybe an hour becomes, then it becomes completely, useless anymore. Yeah. In my case, the best one is food. Yeah. Because food is like, it's gonna make me happy. And then in 1 minute, because I eat like a pig, then gone, then no more, then finish, then no more like this. Then it's like this, right? I remember once Rinpoche, Lamazo Rinpoche would say something, it was so funny. I think I thought he made a comment. We were in a group of people and things like this. And I thought that he was telling this to me because, I was always hungry and always like eating. And then, and Rinpoche used to do long prayers before eating. Yeah. Dedicating the food, offering the food, and all of that. Sometimes we would eat cold food because Rinpoche would stay like, so long, just like offering the food to
Yeah.
everybody. And I was so hungry and I was just like looking the food and like, and then like this. And then Rinpoche said, can you imagine if the restaurants would charge us for all the caca that this food will become? Because that's what it becomes. All the food becomes caca. That's what he said. And I remember thinking and said, That's true. I'm so attached to this food, but this food in the end, it becomes caca. That's what it becomes, right? Such a good wake-up call. Such a good wake-up call for me, to actually realize the process. Yes, it gives me energy. Yes, give me these. But I'm not worried about that when I'm actually craving for the food. I'm just craving for the deliciousness of of the pizza, of the Thai, pad Thai, or all of the food that I'm gonna get when we go to Florida. The burrito, you know? So I just think about, wow, so special to actually observe what actually happens. That moment we don't think about it, that's what actually happens, right? So that's a little bit I want you us to understand the process of our minds, right? So then, yes, we need to start understanding that actually, it's not that having what we want alleviates completely, the suffering of not having having what we don't want or not having what we want, but actually just change. Yeah, there is a uh, temporary, yeah, alleviation. Can I say this word? Is that a word? Yes, alleviation of of that wish, of that satisfaction that needs to be satisfied. Yeah, just this, a little short moment. Yeah. So that suffering in some ways just is just changing forms. Yeah. Why? Because I'm still looking for something else to fulfill my desires. Yes. But there's something very, very, very important that also this shows us, which I've been trying to tell you a few times already. Yes. That if the object, the situation, the job, the person would contain, I'm going to use this word, would have the source of happiness that we are believing we will get when we have it. Yes? If we would have it, then what would happen to us? Then we would not just have a temporary, alleviation of our suffering, of our craving. We would have, as long as we have the object, be completely happy, completely satisfied. Yes? Does it make sense? If the object would have the component of giving happiness to ourselves, the way I believe I'm having, yes? That is to explain Bob's decision, because Bob said, for some reason, I believe that will bring something. Yes? Bob is not crazy. Little bit sometimes, but not all the time. He's not stupid. Definitely not stupid. One of the most smart guys I've met. But he is, like all of us, um, mistaken in believing, yes, that whatever we are craving for can give us a completely alleviation of the suffering. Does it make sense what I just said?
Yes.
That is the reason why we are going for that. And we are believing that that is a part of the object. Yes? So we are not crazy when we are looking for a relationship, for a job, or anything like this, Why we are doing this? Because we believe these things, these people, this job, this situation will give me what? Love, value, relief, identity, security, whatever. Yes? Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes? So here, the question is that we are believing it will give us, is it inside of the object? It's a quality that the object has? Or is it my mind placing it? in that situation, in that object? Which one is it? It's in the object, or it's my mind creating it? Debbie, the mind. You see, when we talk here, we all believe, we all understand that, right? We all understand what I'm saying, right? We all smart people. However, in our daily lives, right? Do we remember that? When we see someone very attractive, when we, get like kind of like, oh, this beautiful car or this beautiful house or, this job or this opportunity or this, right? Isn't it? That moment, that intelligence, gone. We blind faithfully look and believe in that moment that quality. Oh, if I had that car, people would look at me in this way, with seeing this, that, I'm gonna get that. Or if I have this job and then this, or if I have this person, I'm gonna be so happy and all of that and da, right? We create all of these qualities. All of these ideas. We project. That's a good word that I always use. Yeah. The more old school Buddhist people would say we label things in this way. I don't like this labeling. Yes, we do label, but we project. I think projecting is easier. It's like a movie, right? And each of us, we are projecting these things, yes, into different things, into same things, not different things. Let's say same thing, right? This bottle of water. Each uh, each one of us here seeing this bottle of water is projecting something to it. Yes? Does it make sense? Totally different. Maybe someone is saying it's too small. Maybe someone is says this is like that. I don't like it. I like it. Yeah, we are projecting it. We are projecting it. Yes? Because if the object truly contained whatever I'm expecting it to have, then, yes, everyone that would have that object would have to be happy, or would have to have love, or would have to have security, or would have to have whatever I'm expecting it to give or to have. Does it make sense? Does it happen in this way? No. We know it doesn't. Right? Are you following, Bob?
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's very important that we understand. But also it's very important that if the object would have those qualities that we believe will give to us the experience that we're going to get from that object, it would also not change. It was not lose its power. So the job that looks so amazing right now would not become a source of anxiety if it had that. Does it make sense? If it had it in the way that is so permanent, so concrete as it appears to us. So what happens in this way? Our projection, yes, starts to change. And that looks like a shock for us. But let's be honest here. Do you have any change of mood throughout your day? Yes? Do you wake up in a way and then you go to sleep? Yes? In different way, maybe throughout the day, you're very happy, you're very, then you become a little bit down, then maybe become a little bit like this. Do you have that? Yes? You do.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, good. Welcome to being a human being. Very good. So then what happens is that when we are looking at that object, at that situation, at that, that we really crave for as the source of our happiness, love, compassion, security, whatever we are believing it has to give to us, yes? We believe that we're going to hold that projection all the time. Yes? Because in that moment, it's very convenient to us because it's very appealing. Yes? Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yeah? But guess what? We go like this with our minds. We have almost zero control of our minds. So what happens? Something changes externally. Like starts to rain, or the boss says a commentary, or someone does something, or this or that. And then the projection completely changes. Right? Fades away. Does it make sense? Yes? So, that is very important for us to understand. That we are the ones, right? We are the ones that is actually creating and projecting. But now, I want us to observe something that is a little bit even more profound, which is this I that is projecting. Yes? And that is a bit more, how can I say? Yeah, a little bit more interesting because what happens to us is that it's easy. Let's just start, like slow down this inner process. But what happens is that maybe we see something, we hear something, we smell something, we taste something, we touch something. Yes? Hmm? Yeah, we receive a message on our phones or something like this. In that moment, there is just the experience of seeing something, hearing something. Yes? Normally, this is the
Yes.
first moment. It's not maculated. Maculated? Can I say that?
I
Immaculated?
don't know.
No? It's like it's more like it is not stained. That's the word. Stained. Yes? Contaminated. It's not
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
yes. It's not contaminated by anything. It's just a raw experience. Yeah? You're just hearing something, you're just reading something. Yes? That doesn't really stays for so long. Yeah? Why? Because immediately comes that projection that, oh, this message or this bottle or this person has a component of something, yes, that I judge, yeah, as good, or I want, or it's gonna bring me happiness, it's gonna bring me security, it's gonna bring me that. Yes?
yes.
Are we here?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And in that moment, I decide then that I want that I like that. Yes? And I really crave for it. Yes? It's just a moment that it's just an image, it's just an encounter, it's just a hearing something. But then, wow, you know, that kind of like can bring me success. Yes? So I want that. Yes? Then immediately starts the craving, the anxiety for having that. Or like, nowadays, especially younger people, but even I'm sorry to say that we are all becoming addicted to social media, then we see something on social media, someone being very successful or something like this, and then the mind says, oh, this person has success. And then my mind goes that, no, this person is bad. I don't have that, right? But this person has it. I should have that, right? Immediately. that feeling of insecurity, competition, yeah, starts to arise. The experience starts to arise. Yes? It didn't come from the image in itself. Because for someone else, it's going to be like, oh, very nice. No, la, 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 this person, yes, very happy. But you created the entire story about that image. Yes? And you experienced the feeling, the emotion that your projection created in your own mind. Does it make sense what I just said?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So it is important, yes, that we start to really understand that these objects, they appear in a certain way because there is an I that is seeing them in a certain way. Does it make sense what I'm saying? However, why one person sees something as, oh, good, nice, and someone is something as no good, not nice? What is the judgment? What is the reference point that we use in order to judge these things?
Our craving.
The craving of the eye, yes? But why the craving is in one person like seeing something as good and in another person is something as bad?
Your mind.
The I, the identity of the I.
The mind.
Go, I forgot it. Laura? Lauren.
The identity of the I.
Yes.
Identity with, yeah,
Yes.
it's connected.
The way we identify ourselves, the way we see ourselves. Yes?
Yeah.
That is the most important part of it. Because if I am one person that believes, that actually I want to be I need to be, I have to be rich and famous, then that is going to attract me. Yes, because I believe that this is going to bring me to that belief of who I think I should be or who I believe I am. Does it make sense? Nobody's crazy, right? Nobody's going to do something that we don't believe is going to be good for us. But the reason why we believe is going to be something good for us is because we have a reference point of an identification of who or what we should be. Right? If I believe that, having, I don't know, a car, like a big car is gonna make me see as arrogant and people are gonna, then I don't have a big car. I have a smaller car to show that I am, or maybe like I want to have a kind of green car, like I don't, because I identify myself in a certain way. But if I believe that having a big car, it's, kind of like I want to be someone that has power and show, strength and like that, then I have a big car. Because the object is going to give me that. I'm projecting in the object, the car, what I'm believing I'm lacking. Does it make sense what I just said? Yes, Lauren?
So our identity is the root of our suffering.
In a way.
That I.
The way we experience that I.
Wait, okay.
Because the problem is, Lauren, is that we hold. What is that name that you guys have in America something called super glue?
Yes.
That you put like this and then you And then you like it like this. Yes, yes, you have that. So
Yeah.
that is the glue that we have with our identity. Yes, the mind glues with certain ideas of how I should be, how I have to be, and we keep stuck in that. But my question to you is, if we really analyze our minds, yes, looking from that perception of identity, yeah, how many times a day we change our identities, right? We are with someone, normally we know family or kind of like our partner, and we are in a bad mood, like bitchy or whatever, and then there's someone in the line and we are so kind and so fluffy, and someone that's like this, and you know and then we have someone that kind of like, we're seeing and we say, oh my God, I don't see you so long, I miss you so much, and they're like, but actually we're being a little bit kind of like fake. So many times we just go changing our identities all the time. Why? Because it's depending on the circumstances. That person, the situation. And I'm gonna even go even simpler. If you slept enough, if you're hungry, if you're thirsty, if you want to go to the toilet, isn't it? No?
Mhm.
Isn't it? So we change so much, but we hold within ourselves we have a craving from an idea of who we are and who we should be, so strong, right? It's just so strong. So our thoughts changing all the time, our mood changing all the time, emotions changing all the time, memory. Actually, I was watching a very nice thing the other day saying that I can't remember if it was 30%, something like this, of actually 30% of what we believe it is our memories, it's actually true. Most of it we create in our minds. Like, there's this thing. It was interesting because it was like talking about these people that had like kind of like after 9/11, and they were like asked, many years later, where were you, what happened, and then the person like just tells this story that they really believe. Oh yes, I was sitting in my kitchen and then this happened and that happened, and then they go and investigate, and the person was like actually at school or something like this, or kind of like at work or something else. They were not at home. They were not at this. They were not sitting in front of of their kitchen watching the news. But the person believes in that, right? So the memories are just images of our minds, narratives, yeah,
Mhm.
that we're telling ourselves, right? So those things, it's actually the reason why the object appears the way it does is because of all of these memories, these, conditionings, these things, and especially this idea that we have about ourselves. So this bottle of water appears in a certain way to you because of the idea that you have about yourself. Why am I talking about this? Because in Buddhism, what we are trying to do is to realize that the way the mind works in relation to objects, external things, people, situations, but also our own idea of ourselves might be mistaken. And that is the cause of our suffering. Does it make sense what I said? Iris, does it make sense? Yes? That is the basis of Tibetan Buddhism. Well, Buddhism is trying to understand how the mind is creating our reality based on our conditioning, ideas, projections of ourselves first, and how the entire world is there existing to make that idea of ourselves reality. The other day, someone sent it
Can
to
you
me.
repeat the last part of that sentence about
Yes.
reality, please?
So what is happening, what Buddhism is trying, Dharma is trying to actually tell us is that the way our mind works is that it's creating an idea of ourselves. Yes. That is not as we actually function. That's not how it actually works in reality. And it's projecting into objects, situations, people. Yes. Also, a non-real way of existing to match, to make that impossible way of seeing ourselves reality. So I said in a different way to make sure that it makes sense. Yes, Bob.
So you're saying that the mind first creates the identity of self, and then it projects that out in terms of cravings, as an example, or grasping, or
It's yes. More important, the word that I'm going to say here, they are interdependent. They arise at the same time.
so my identification of self and my craving arrive at the same time.
Yes. Let's say like this. So, for example, if you are in a good mood, yes, then your mind is believing that, sharing a meal with someone is going to be a good thing. But if you're hungry and, sharing a meal with someone is going to be a little bit impatient, because you don't want to hear, you want to eat. Yes. So in that moment, in those different moments, your identification with yourself, which is like, oh, I'm relaxed, I'm feeling good, or I'm hungry, yes, and I need to have that, these will taint, will contaminate, yes, the projection of that situation, that person, that restaurant, everything. The first one, you're going to have a good time. Second one, you're going to have a bad time. So they are interdependent. They depend on causes and conditions to arise. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So if things depend on causes and conditions and they are changing all the time, that is what proves that my idea of me being in a certain way, fixed, concretely, is mistaken. Does it make sense what I just said? Lauren?
Can you say that again?
Yes. Yes, very good.
Say it.
No, this is good. This is very good because this is the essence of the essence. La crème de la crème. This is what it is. So what it means is that if our minds are constantly changing, right? If the objects are constantly changing as well, no, the way they appear to us, yes, that proves that the way I am seeing myself, so sticky and permanent and fixed, it's impossible. It's wrong. Because that's not how myself, like how I work, how I am. Because I'm constantly changing, right?
Right.
So that proves, right? That this idea of I have to be like this, I shouldn't be like that, it's absolutely a wrong idea of how I function. Does it make sense, Lauren?
Yes.
Yes, Bob.
Where does intention fit?
Intention is always present.
I know, but where does it fit if I have a virtuous intention?
Intention is the will. Will,
A
yes.
wheel.
Mm-hmm.
It's the, how do you say that, the drive, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the car, yeah, that you turn here, you turn there, yes. So right now, intention is just one, fulfilling the
One
desire.
what?
Fulfilling is fulfilling the desires of this idea of self, fixed, permanent. That's the intention right now. And again, it makes sense. If I believe that I am like that, that's who I am and that's who I should be, then it makes sense. However, now that we are listening to this and we can start applying and trying to apply this understanding in our lives, we need to start changing that intention from an intention that it is not fulfilling the cravings and the desires of this idea of who I think I should be, but actually freeing myself from those wrong views, from this wrong idea of myself.
Can there be a right view?
Can you be what?
Can there be a right view of oneself?
Yes, I start to develop an intention of wanting to have a right view. So what is the right view that I'm going to start looking for? It's actually, hey, Steph,
Yes, Steve.
Steve,
Hi.
hello, dear. You asked me.
So, no, I'm thinking that it's being able to see things that you might use to, well, I guess what I'm saying is recognizing that those things don't have anything inherent in them. And that
Yes.
they're tools for us to use to accomplish certain things, but it's just tools to use to go about what we need to do in life.
Yes, yes. And then what we can do with them is that we can transform everything in our lives as a tool to help us, let it go or eliminate those wrong views.
Like to express generosity and compassion.
Yes. But that will come a second step, because that's when when I'm there teaching on Sundays, I really want to go, because I was thinking about that the other day, and I said, oh, actually 3 years ago already, I think it was the first time I taught to TKL, to Thubten Kunga Ling, and I taught on the premises of Buddhism. There's a three lines, that talk about what is the essence of the Buddhism path, the Buddhist path, and the essence is that no harm, not harming others. Yes, this is the first. The second one is, if you can, you help others. Yes. And how do we accomplish these two things? By taming our minds or understanding our minds. Yes? So, to understand our minds is what we are trying to do here, and you guys are acing on it. Yes? You're doing great. But let's really always start with the first one. It's not harming others. Yes? So if we can do that already, that is incredible. For that, we need what is the biggest harm that we do for others nowadays?
Murder them.
Huh?
Kill them.
Yes, that's true, but there's actually things worse than murdering people. Okay, there are. But the method that we is a good is a honest answer. This true, but the method that we use to harm others, it's our selfishness, right? It's because I'm thinking about me that I am going to punch you in the face, that I'm going to kill you, that I'm going to rob you, that I'm going to say something mean to you. Right? And where selfishness comes from this wrong sense of me, of I. Right? So that is the basis for us developing this first part of not harming others. And doing what you started to say about then realizing that, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to wait or to focus my mind that the entire existence of the universe, it's here to serve my needs. But actually, I can use all of these tools, all of my body, all of my mind, everything to actually help others. But I can only do that kind of like jump if I understand the first point. That's why we say that these two things are in some ways together. We don't need to completely wait until we totally understood, that wrong views that we have. But the more we go studying, contemplating, meditating on them, the more we are able to start really, developing love, compassion, authentic, as we say, authentic love, compassion. Right? Because now love and compassion is contaminated by this wrong view. So the compassion and love that I actually give to others is conditioned by this mental idea of what is in it for me. Right? Is it bad? No, it's better than actually killing people, as Jack would say. But it can go better and better. And how does it get better and better? By us understanding and decreasing this wrong idea of ourselves, letting go of this super glue idea, this craving idea of who we are and how we should be, which is a fixed self-identification. Does it make sense, Steve?
Did that make sense, Steve? Sure.
Does it make
Oh,
sense?
yes.
Yes? Okay, good.
I thought you were saying something about the noise I was making by eating
No,
my
no, no.
raisins.
I cannot hear. I cannot hear. This is great. So it's very good.
Another raisin eater. We have another raisin eater.
If I was there, I would scold you, but here I cannot hear, so it's okay.
Venerable and Kalden, there's something that was just occurring to me, because it's something that's been very true in my life,
Mm-hmm.
is how much of my life I spent because my view of myself was about being a good and generous person, and how much effort I put into that, but it was really because I was looking for a certain response.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Welcome to here. Buddhism is just explaining that to you, is saying, oh, you're a bad person, or this is wrong. No. You just believed in that moment, like all of us. We were fooled by our own minds. We believed that that would be giving us the completely alleviation of the craving, right?
There was a craving for love
There was a craving
from
for love. There was a
outside.
crave for, and that's normal. That is the thing that I love about it, because sometimes people go, and I'm sorry, I don't want to kind of like say that people are wrong, but anything like that. But people, when they start a spiritual path, they believe that you should kind of like, this is wrong, or you should hate your ego or hate the way, but it's just like, oh my God, no, 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 no. We already have too much hate already. So it's not about that. It's about understanding the reason logically. Why did you do that? Because you're crazy? No. You're stupid? No. You believed that it's mathematics. Acting in this way would bring the elimination of your suffering, of your craving, right?
Yeah.
And it did, but very shortly. And not only it did very shortly, but it created more anxiety, because now you have more. Now you need to do this. Now you need to do that. And it became like a snowball, right? Because then you
Yeah.
had to actually make it different things and become something else, and then become another thing, and then believing that you need to become even more like this and more like that, and more, it made your self-identification more tight. Yes? And more glued. Let's say like this. Yes? So it
Yes.
doesn't help. But we believe it helps. So we didn't do out of stupidity, out of like, no, it's just because we didn't know. Yes? So the path now, it's what? Decreasing that
What?
self-identity. Decreasing the self-identification. Yes? So that is the way we're gonna kind of like, oh, look at me responding in this way because I believe that this is gonna make me be in this other way, be seen in this other way. I don't need that. Right? Why I don't need that? Because of the beginning of our class. That's why I also started with this. When we started to meditate a little bit and connect with our own essence, with our own minds, we start to realize that in the middle, or in the middle of these shenanigans of our minds, yes, these open door, open windows, if we really look inside, and if we really cultivate, yes, cultivate in the sense of the method, yeah, cultivate the method to look inside, we always gonna find that calmness, that clarity, that peace, it's always there. Always. That doesn't change. That doesn't go away. The bubbles on top of it, yes. Or the veils we put on top of it, yes, it looks like. Yes, but the essence, it's always the same. Peace, kindness, love, compassionate, openness. It's always there, always. But we forget. And look how crazy and sad it is, to be honest. We create a version of ourselves that is actually broken, lacking, right? When we actually are already whole, complete, perfect. And we call it life. Why we did that? That's the question, right? Then it's become, I really want to do interfaith meeting. I have so many plans this year, don't know how I'm gonna make it, but slowly we're gonna make it. But I want to make an interfaith discussion to discuss about that. You know, what is the meaning of life, right? In that way, because in some ways, Buddhism is gonna say that the meaning of life is to uncover these wrong views, so we can just allow our true essence to just be. And I have to say that I believe that most of the other religions and faiths are going to say very similar things. You can use, to be one with God, to be one with the universe or whatever, is exactly the same. Because when we describe God in many of these other religions, we are describing in Buddhism the nature of the mind. Of course, not when we are describing, a white beard guy and things like that. Not like this, but but when we are describing the qualities of God, yes, in all the different religions, pure love, unconditional compassion, all of these, almighty, even that. We also say that in Buddhism is the essence of the mind, the true nature of our own minds, exactly the same. No difference. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think Debbie had a question before you, Bob.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Does a version of ourselves that I'm trying to connect that super glue feeling with looking externally for happiness, like the likes and the dislikes. I was thinking, when I drove to the beach, how like the agitation of getting a red light, or the whole thing of like I have to get there to have happiness. But I was trying to connect how that is related to my identity, or who I think I am. Like
someone that was born in the Sahara Desert, yes, for them would be going in the dunes or something, like walking on the sand or doing something like this, right? Because in that situation, they believe in that, the way you were born, the seed, all of these shaped, and of course, memories, and of course, in Buddhism, we can go even further. We're going to say, your previous lives, your habits of previous lives, your habits that you created, that you bring into this life, that creates your sense of self in this life, right?
Yeah.
So there's a great saying that I love it in Tibetan saying that says, if you want to know your past life, look into your current life. Why? Because it's just the results of your previous actions, right? If you want to know your future life, just look at your current life. because you're creating, the causes for the results you're going to encounter. So that is to say that it's not only, that's a way of in Buddhism to say that it's not only in one life, yes, that we accumulate certain kind of like habits. But if we do start to observe, it is that self-identification that we create, right? But not because, again, we are crazy. No, it's because in that we don't have the tools. We didn't have it, yes, the tools to analyze that, oh, wait a minute, with this person in this situation, I act in a certain ways. Because if we really look into our minds, and especially you as a psychologist, you're going to see it. We all have all different types of personalities. Circumstantially, depending on the circumstances, yes?
Yeah.
We say, oh, I would never kill someone. Really? Put someone with a gun on your head or the head of your children or, or something, or someone that you love. You don't know. You don't know the habits that can come up with those circumstances coming together. Does it make sense what I just said?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is very important, what I just said about you don't know the results that will come about because of the circumstances that you might encounter yourself, which is what our friend Steve was talking about, that if I understand that depending on the circumstances, certain aspects of a personality of mine come out, like when I get hungry, I become angry, right? So
Angry.
then angry. So then I always have, a little something with me, right? So you start to understand that if I create certain conditions right now, certain conditions will help me not to be angry, not to act in a negative way. Certain conditions will help me to be more kind, more compassionate, more this. Does it make sense what I just said? If I meditate, if I do this, if I talk to people, yes?
Yeah.
Tell
What
me,
do you mean
Bob.
by, yeah, three things. Are you saying that my personality, I'm sorry, my identification shows up in the moment I'm making the choice? Because I can understand how I make a choice to alleviate what I falsely believe, to make a choice to alleviate suffering, and that's an absolute incorrect belief. I understand how I
That
relate
is the
those two.
second
Where
step.
does the self, excuse me?
That is the second step. The moment it actually comes about is the moment you project qualities in the object that are not there.
Correct. I got that.
That is
But
the
I'm trying
first
to get
moment that
I'm
your
trying to get where the
identification.
self-identification, at what moment, and where does the self-identification show up? Or
It's
is it
always there.
just understood? It's just understood.
It's always there. It's
Yeah,
always there.
okay.
Always
So,
there.
so is the goal, is the intention, is the motivation to transform all of that so that so that you're always in the mind of love and compassion and generosity and kindness and patience, regardless of the circumstances of the situation.
So I'm gonna go even deeper because you guys are advanced class.
And
This
for the benefit of others.
advanced class. Yes, we talk a lot about transformation in Buddhism, and yes, it is a transformation. But as I was saying, and I'm more and more trying to, teach the ending result because I trust you that you can take it. The end of the Buddhist path, the ending part of the Buddhist path, but bringing it in the beginning, let's say like this, and to make it useful to your daily life, it's not about, it's transforming the wrong vision. But how do we transform the wrong vision? The wrong view? By seeing it as wrong. And then seeing the correct view. So what does it mean? It means that you start to see that your mind functions right now, and it will continue to function for a long time with that belief that there is an I that exists in a very specific, concrete way. That there is a Bob, there is a man, it's a, 150 years old, and then, it's from Florida, and and then, that it should be in a certain way because it had these traumas when he was a child, and then that, and then this, we cling to that. Yes? So everything that you experienced is contaminated from that self-existing, concrete, specific way of seeing yourself. So from the moment you wake up until a moment when you wake up the next day, because even the dreams are contaminated by this. So whatever for you that makes, that idea, that sense of self change in the sense of like get what he wants. Yes? Get what he wants. It's how you're going to live your life. That's going to be the goal of your life. So the transformation is not about creating a different sense of self. That is crucial. And that I am going to be your worst.
Could you say that again?
And it's not about creating another, transforming that sense of self to another one. Like, oh, I have this tendency, I am very anxious person, or I am a very angry person, right? So I need to be like very relaxed, and I need to be very kind. Even that, it's a self-identification, as our friend Steve pointed out, right? He had this idea that wanting to be generous and seen as kind and all of that. Again, it's a sense of self-identification. So what is the goal? Understanding that the self is a merely circumstantial experience. What does it mean? That it changes. That it's not concrete. It's not permanent. It's not fixed. And if I see that, and then I'm going to say, okay, so where my wishes will come from, where my goal will be, it will come from my own essence, which is simple clarity, love, compassion, without identification.
How do you do that? How do
Mm.
you achieve that?
Yes, with what we are what is your name?
Susie?
Susie. Welcome. Susie, have you been here before?
No,
No.
this time.
Very good. I'm so sorry. Normally I do, I like to know the people that comes for the first time, but I thought that I saw your face before, but maybe it's just me that I'm like,
A common face.
Yes. So you are the thermometer. Is it making any sense what I'm talking?
Yes and no, because if you
Yes.
mention about wrong sense of self, and then if you try to change, you're just creating another wrong sense of self. What is the right sense of self? And you say you come from compassion, clarity, but isn't that an identification itself? So how do I know I'm identifying as my
Yes.
essence, or
Very good.
I'm just creating another self?
Very good. Very good question. Very good question. You see, it's the beginner's mind that we are kind of, we all are beginners, but when we have that kind of like, not having so much, then it's very good. How do we sin? How do we know that we are kind of like, not in one way or in another? We can even start with the body. When there is tightness, yes, in the body, when there's anxiety, when there's that feeling of I have to have that, or I need that, or that belief that the object, the situation, or this is gonna give me something. If there is a looking for satisfaction, for something to satisfy me, because there is something lacking, I am not in a good route.
Mm.
When I do something knowing that there is no lack, that there is not it's not gonna change the view of myself. It's not gonna harm. It's not gonna, even if I do something, for example, if I need to slap someone in the face to make them not hurt themselves or something like this. There's no this identification of this is good, this is wrong, this is bad. There's only an expression of my love, my compassion, to wanting for these people, these beings, to not suffer. There's only that. Because you understand, when you are in that state of mind, you understand that people are suffering because of these self-identifications. So you don't get triggered by that. When you see how things work, the mind, our minds and the minds of others, then it's certain, it just appears, it just manifests from your compassion.
So, if, for example, if I do something which I think comes from my essence,
Yes.
but it wasn't taken correctly and I get mad, so that's my ego. That's not my essence.
Yes. No. Because your mind, it's if you think you're coming from your essence, but actually there is that feeling of I got what I wanted. There's not that feeling of I got what I wanted. Yeah?
So there's no attachment to the outcome.
Yes. Yes, very good way of saying. There's no attachment for a certain result.
So,
Yes, and especially a result that involves me being gratified by that. Yes? Yes, sweetie.
Because at the very center of it all, it's understanding that everything is empty.
Mhm.
That emptiness, that the way we see ourselves, that I, is really non-existent.
The I, the way that we see ourselves. But the I, there is an I. No, there is an I that is, as Steve said before, is like actually understanding that I have a body, there is a mind, and this body and the mind can actually do so much to help others. If I am not 100% of the time worried about an unexisting way of existing.
If I'm not constantly worried about the I.
The fixed self-existing sense of I. Why? Because we cannot go to the other extreme and say, oh, I don't exist, so I don't need to give anything, so I don't eat, I don't sleep, I don't do this, I don't work. It's not about that. No. I go, but I just slowly starting to let go. Guys, it's already 8:36. I already overpassed today. I'm so sorry. I've been here talking. I just saw the clock. It's because I was missing all of you so much. So that's what it's like we don't see the time when we are having good time with our friends. That's what happens. Okay? So let's pause for today so you guys can go and have dinner and sleep and, had this mind blowing. I can see Lawrence like he's going like a cartoon, So it's just a constant reminding of ourselves of this, right? So we're going to be talking about this again and again and again in different ways, in different formats, and really trying to make sense of this, right? To apply, because right now it's so ingrained in our lives a different way of experiencing it. Yeah. So it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes patience with ourselves, and takes, space and many conditions for this to arise. Rest for this understanding to actually stay in the mind. So let's be kind to ourselves. Yes, that's the first tip. But the second one is, once now that you heard about this, try to apply it. Next time you see your mind going towards craving for something as the source of happiness, or or blaming someone or something as the source of your misery, remember, wait a minute, does the object, the person, has that quality? Where is it coming from my mind? And then goes a little bit deeper and say, whoa, it's coming from which identification of me? And why it feels like this? Wait a minute, let me go back to my essence. Let me go back that these I changes. I am not like this. I was not like that. I don't have to be like this. I changed so much. Let it go. You know? Does it make sense? So try to apply this in your daily life. Yes? I gave this example already once, that one of the real things that Lama Zopa Rinpoche really helped me when he used to put me in these extremely difficult situations, because he used to ask me to go to centers that always had problems, It was to see how, if I have a very strong idea that this is the right thing, I need to do this, I am the one doing it, da 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 da, it would have problems. But if I let it go and I just allow that wish to help others to simply come, then with this person, I'm talking like this, that person like that, this person like this person like that, because there's less self-identification. There's just the wish to help. And that wish to help will manifest in whatever beneficial way might be. Does it make sense? Because, as our friend said, there's no attachment to the result. Because if I understand that if I put the intention, the result will come. If the result will come in green, blue, yellow, red, purple, it doesn't matter. Yes? If the conditions are there, the flower will come. Yes? If the conditions are there, no flower. Okay, we just keep trying. That's it. Right? We keep going. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So homework for you guys. Try in the next week to apply what we just said. Yes? Once, in one situation. One. Yes? If maybe it's a big craving or maybe it's a big negative in a situation, try to check and try to apply this, to go back like this. Wait a minute. Am I seeing the object? Why am I seeing? What is lacking in me? What is the sense of me? Let me go back. Oh, yes, I don't need you. Okay. Yes, try. And then you let me know next week. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big. Dedicate, okay? Don't forget to dedicate this energy that we created here together. What dedication means? It means that we kind of like keep on checking that this energy that we just created here together and individually, with really understanding about our minds, to continue. Even when we are not paying attention, even if we are not, when we are sleeping, even when we're not, made this. Someone wrote something to me recently because they got very I don't know, I don't do anything, but they asked me some questions and I answered, and they became very happy what my answers, but they said, may I never doubt this path, and may every time in this life I always keep trying, to keep trying to connect with my essence, to let it go of wrong views. That's it. We dedicate for that. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. This was fabulous. Thank you.
I see you next week. Have a good night, and thank you for being at the center. You're so kind.
Thank you. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Mary. So good to see you.
Love you. See ya.
Bye bye.